You know roughly what is in your account. Not exactly. Roughly. You have been carrying that number in your head for 3 days. Not the real number, the approximate one. The one that still leaves room for tonight to be fine. It's Friday. The week is done. You are already here. You could check before you buy. One tap, 4 seconds. You don't. You check your messages instead. Your social media, anything else. Anything but the bank app. You tell yourself you will check after. You won't. That was not carelessness. That was not a busy evening. There was a decision your brain made before you were conscious enough to stop it. It has a name. Psychologists call it the Ostrich Effect. And it is not a character flaw. It is the same system that kept your ancestors alive, running inside you right now, pointed at your bank app. By the end of this episode, you will know exactly why your brain does this, and you will still do it again tomorrow. This is not weaknesses. This is not avoidance. This is not something that will be fixed by more discipline or a better budgeting app. In 2009, a researcher named Nicolas Karlsson at the Stockholm School of Economics noticed something unusual. When stock markets dropped, investors didn't check their portfolios more. They checked them less. The worse the situation became, the less information people sought about it. Not because they didn't care, they do. Because the brain had identified the information itself as a threat. Karlsson called this the Ostrich Effect. The name comes from the myth that ostriches bury their head in sand when threatened. They don't actually, but you do. Here's the mechanism. Your brain does not process anticipated bad news as information. It processes it as pain. Not metaphorical pain. Actual neural pain response. The same circuitry. The same signal. So when you stand at the checkout and don't open the app, your brain is not being irrational. It is doing exactly what it was built to do. It is protecting you from pain. George Lowenstein at Carnegie Mellon University spent years mapping this response. His finding was precise and uncomfortable. People do not avoid information because they expect it to be bad. They avoid information because receiving it would force them to act. Once you see the number, you own it. You cannot unknow it. You cannot spend as if you hadn't seen it. Not without lying to yourself deliberately. Again. The problem is that the pain is coming regardless. The number is the same whether you look it or not. Your brain knows this. It keeps the app closed anyway. Now, think about today. The running total you didn't look at until the checkout was done. The app you opened and closed before the balance loaded. The mental arithmetic you ran loose enough to justify the purchase, not precise enough to be accurate. The moment someone mentioned money, and you changed the subject inside your own head. That was not 4 separate moments of carelessness. There was one system running 4 separate protective maneuvers before you finish your first drink. This pattern holds regardless of income level, educational level, or financial literacy. People who understand compound interest avoided their statements. People who thought personal finance avoided their statements. Knowing the name of what is happening to you changes almost nothing about what happens next. And those were just investors avoiding a number. In 2013, Emily Oster at the University of Chicago tracked 1,000 people whose parents had Huntington's disease, a rare fatal genetic condition. You may not have heard of it. Many people haven't. Each of them had a 50% chance of carrying it too. The test was free. The result was 100% accurate. Knowing would have given them years to prepare. Less than 10% choose to know. The other 90 stayed in a version of their life where they might still be fine. This is not a knowledge problem. This is not an education problem. This is not a financial literacy problem. The brain doesn't care what you know. It cares what it anticipates feeling. And what it anticipates feeling? After you open the app, after you confirm what you already suspected, is pain. So it waits. Your thumb moves to something else. The app stays closed. The number stays where it was. And somewhere underneath, you let it. Go back to this evening. You weren't thinking about money when you left the house. The second thought was money. You pushed it aside. You told yourself you've earned tonight. The week was long. You were already here. At some point, you thought about checking. The app was right there. One tap, you opened something else instead. You told yourself you didn't want to check your balance in public. Then you were at the register, or the checkout screen, or the table where the bill arrives. You did the math in your head. Not all of it. Enough of it. The part that came out fine. You knew it wasn't right. You used it anyway. You bought it. You told yourself Monday was soon enough to look. Monday is when real life resumes. Later, something reminded you. Not the balance, just a feeling. A low signal your brain had been running all evening. You opened the app. You saw the number. It was what you already knew it was going to be. You had known since Wednesday. Possibly since last week. The not looking had not changed the number. It had only changed how long you spent in a version of your life where the number might still be fine. That version felt better. That is why you will stay there again. Not because you are weak. Because staying there costs nothing in the moment. And the brain is very good at moments. You know roughly what is in your account. Not exactly. Roughly. The Ostrich Effect does not only live in your bank app. It lives in every gap between what you know and what you're willing to confirm. It runs every single time. You open the fridge knowing what's inside. And check again anyway, hoping the answer changed. Every time you add something to your cart and you don't look at the running total until you are already at checkout. Every time you eat something and decide to check the calories after, not before. It runs in every account you haven't opened, every scale you have stepped around, every blood test and checkup you have been meaning to book. Every number you have decided can wait until Monday. The number is not what your brain is protecting you from. It was what comes after. The second after you see it. When not knowing stops being an option. When you have to decide what to do with what you now know. That second is what your brain has been avoiding all week. So, when did you last look? Not roughly. This is Wired to Spend. A question worth sitting with.